Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the channel. My name is Rachel Sanner, and today we are talking about some camera, photography, videography, just kind of general like a how-to on gear in terms of a buying guide. A couple of things before we get started. First off, you need to subscribe. That's what I say at the top of every video. It's true now. It was true then. It's going to be true in the future. Subscribe, enable notifications. Second off, this guide, everything in this video is on our website. That link is in the description. I cannot wait for you to check it out. Go through there, check out some specific items. You won't be sorry. Now, with that said, well, I think it's time to get started. So the first thing you need to do when you're getting ready to become, like you want to start taking pictures of the sky, of storms, of weather, whatever you're looking to do. First off, know that it could be dangerous. That's like first thing, like know what you're getting into. You get training, look for training materials, become educated. This is super, super important because if you don't do that, your safety is like the most important thing. There are so many factors that go into a successful sky and storm photography expedition. Most importantly is just being safe. So let's just start there. Now, the second thing you need to do is you need to start thinking about like, what am I going to be doing? Am I shooting video? Am I shooting photos? Am I shooting both? All of these are acceptable. I do both. I do photos and video. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You need to determine that. Like, am I looking for video cameras or am I looking for photo cameras or cameras that can kind of do both? Next thing you need to figure out is your budget. Every budget is welcome here. So you will encounter a lot of photography channels, a lot of folks in in this realm that really like say you got to spend a lot of money. I am not a traditionalist in any sense of the imagination. I'm not someone that says you have to buy the top of the line gear to get top of the line stuff. That is absolutely not the case. In fact, I would recommend when you start out to actually start lower. And that's because it kind of lets you get a feel for what you like and what you don't like. And starting off a little bit cheaper can actually help with that because you can have some flexibility to maybe move around systems, something like that. So if you're looking for something along the lines of photography, there's a couple of things that are going to be very important things to look for. The first thing is just sensor size. What are you looking for? I will just tell you, most people are going to tell you, get full frame. You absolutely have to get full frame. I'm here to tell you, you don't actually have to get full frame, especially if it's not in your budget. Don't worry about it. It's okay. If all you can afford is a used APS-C sensor, that's okay. Check out this sensor chart right here. You can see all the different types of sensors. For a point of reference, I shoot micro four thirds. That's for video. The reason why I shoot micro four thirds is a couple of reasons. First off, it's all I could afford back in the day. Second off, I've built up an extensive collection of lenses over the last decade. It would be $20,000, $30,000 to replace them all on like a full frame system. So not about that life. And then lastly, I like the deep depth of field that you can get with those micro four thirds sensors because they're smaller, more is in focus. I like it for storms. Another thing you're going to see is megapixels. That's just like you see it. It's like the top thing, like 40 megapixels, 50 megapixels. Anything above like 25 megapixels is going to be pretty good. Like 24, 25 megapixels and up, you're doing pretty good. If it's below that, you know, you're not going to, I mean, you could tell at some point, but check out this picture. I shot this picture in 2009. It was my first SLR camera. You want to know how many megapixels this is? It's 6. So you can shoot great photos and they look great on the web. No matter, like that's 6. So just imagine like 25, 30, 40, something like that could do for you. Now, as I said at the top of this video, we have a buying guide. It's in the link, the description link is below. I list some of the photo cameras I would recommend for different budget levels, different skill levels, etc. Be sure to check that out. But just keep in mind, sensor size and megapixels are 2 things you're going to hear a lot about, a lot of strong opinions. I'm here to tell you that any camera today, it's going to shoot really good photos. You're fine. Now, on the other side of this spectrum are video cameras. And video cameras, there's a lot of the same things you're going to want to look for in video cameras. First off, what's the chip size? Like, what's that sensor size? What are you dealing with? The bigger, the better when it comes to video, for sure, because it can gather more light, especially around storms, sunsets, etc. There's not any real like dedicated video cameras that are full frame, but you can find some that are micro four thirds, 1 inch, etc. These video cameras are really nice. The dash cam I shoot with actually is less than 1 inch, the sensor, but you can see it gets pretty good footage in lower light. It's fine. As is always the case, it's just like a matter of taste, etc. There's two things, though, I think that you should look for absolutely with any video camera you are shopping for. The first one, 4K. Make sure it shoots 4K or higher. It's just like, that's the world we live in now. You don't want to be shooting just 1080p. You don't want to be shooting 2K, 2.7K. Make sure that you're shooting 4K. Now, the second thing you need to look for, 10-bit 422 recording codec. At the very least, make sure it does this, because this gives you so many more colors to color grade with. Everything looks better. Everything is easier to grade. Do that. Now, if you've got like an unlimited budget, and I mean unlimited because you're going to need it for hard drive space, etc., raw video is quickly becoming a thing. It is expensive. It's going to take up a lot of space. Not for, I mean, if you're just getting started, you're watching this, you're probably not thinking, I'm going to go buy an 8K camera that shoots raw, and I'm going to spend, $5,000 on storage this year for it. You're probably not there. So, just in a realistic sense, 4K, 10-bit, 422. Again, the buying guide for some of these cameras are on our site. Check it out. Now, when you're looking for a hybrid camera, something like what I shoot with, that does photos and video, it's very important that you realize that you're not going to get the best of both worlds for a price that most people are going to be able to afford. You're going to have some give and take. And so you got to kind of start thinking about priorities in that regard. What are my priorities? Am I a little bit more photo? Am I a little bit more video? Do I just not know? Well, in that case, you really need to start thinking about megapixels. Like where do I want to be in the megapixel chart? Usually a hybrid camera, a good one, starts at about 24 megapixels. 24 to 40 is where that's at. But on the video, again, I think a must-have. Make sure it has that 10-bit 422 codec. That's going to serve you well. There are so many. This is like becoming the class of cameras that most people are buying, and there are a lot here. As I've said before, and I'm going to say this many times in many videos and many times in this video, cameras today are really good. And people who say you are buying something terrible from any of the major manufacturers, if you're buying a Sony or a Canon or a Panasonic, you're fine. If you're buying something new, you're going to be buying a camera that can produce great images. Now, the question does become, what's the best camera for this price point, etc.? And with that in mind, I'm just here to tell you, I'm a broken record, but buying guide, check it out. You won't be sorry. Now, as you're building out your kit, another thing you may be looking for, lenses, right? This is a very important question. There are 2 lenses every sky and storm photographer should have in their pack. The first is an ultra wide, 35 millimeter equivalent, somewhere between 14 to 28 millimeters. That is you should be there. That should be where you are at on the wide end. And then some kind of a standard zoom, something like 24 to 70, 24 to 120, something like that. Some kind of a camera that has some zoom. You'll like that zoom, especially when it comes to kind of cropping in on a tornado, zooming in a little bit on a tornado, something like that. Now for video cameras, a lot of the this is a video cameras, you have to deal with the lens that you're given. My tip, 24 millimeters. It needs to be 24 millimeters wide on the wide end for the stuff you want. There are a lot of video cameras out there that are on the wide end, 35, 38 millimeters. Do not buy those for storms. Do not buy those for storms. Make sure any video camera you get has a wide angle lens of 24 millimeters or lower, like lower than that, like 20, 18, something like that. Do not buy anything that is higher than that. Now, the last thing we are going to talk about are accessories. What do you use? What do you build around your camera? What do you have to buy with your camera? I have some opinions. They're kind of strong, but I'm going to give them anyways because that's what we're here for, right? I think. So, first thing you need to buy, batteries, 2 or 3 extra. You can buy off-brand if you want. I recommend like Wasabi, one of these like really good off-brand ones. Don't skimp on the off-brand batteries. But if you can't afford it, get the official ones. They almost always last longer. They have a longer life period. So just do that. I promise you that it'll be okay. But 2 or 3 extra batteries because you're going to forget to charge your battery at some point and you want to have some backups. Just saying. Just saying. Not that I have any experience with that. Now the next thing you need to get, you've got your batteries. You need a tripod. Get 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 a tripod. Just get one. Do not tripods are important. They're going to make your photos better. They're going to make your videos better. Also, do not skimp on a tripod. A tripod is a multi-camera purchase. You're going to buy a camera and those cameras are going to come and go. But you're going to have a tripod, and if you take care of it, it's going to last 10 years, 15 years. Just spend money on a tripod. Be friendly to, make sure in your budget there is a nice tripod budgeted in. Let's talk about a couple of other accessories very quickly. First off, if you're shooting video, get some grad ND filters. For photos, shooting raw, you can kind of bring in the highlights, bring up the shadows, etc. There's a lot of latitude there. With video, you don't get that. So you have to do all that while you're shooting. I recommend highly a grad ND filter, a 2-stop and a 3-stop. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to shooting storms, dynamic skies, etc. Also, SD cards, just get SanDisk. Like, SanDisk. I have shot SanDisk my entire career. Have only a couple of times been let down. Get good. Again, with most things, you get what you pay for with camera stuff. Make sure when you're talking about your data, my photos, make sure they are on some memory that you can trust. Get SanDisk. Just trust me. So the last piece of accessory that you absolutely want to make sure that you have, microfiber cleaning cloths. Right there for your lens. You're going to need stuff like that. So just think about that. I'm going to go through my entire kit and setup at some point, and you're going to see how paranoid I am, and that's a good and a bad thing. So we're going to have some fun at some point in the future. I can't wait. So hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it kind of got you going on the right path. For the 1,972nd time, check out our buying guide. Just do it. All the things I talked about are condensed in there on our website, and there are links to all the products that I would recommend someone buy if they want to do weather and sky photography. Subscribe to this channel. We're going to talk about this topic, making better photos, making better videos. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in the coming weeks, months, years. Who knows? Who knows how long? So make sure you subscribe. You need to do it. Also, subscribe to our newsletter. This is like the last thing I'm going to ask you to do. Subscribe to our newsletter. That link also is in our description. You're going to get alerts for upcoming storm chasing, upcoming live storm chasing, our latest videos, weather education, so much more. So please subscribe to our newsletter. And finally, weather is for everybody. That means you. Weather is for everybody, and that means you. And I cannot wait to see what kind of photos and videos you make, because you're going to prove to the world that weather is for you. So we'll see you next time. Can't wait for someone to say, yeah, I listened to you. I listened to the SanDisk recommendation and it fell. Can't wait for that to happen. It's going to happen. Westward,